My name is Kunda Dixit. I'm with the Nepali Times newspaper in Kathmandu. 4 months before the earthquake, we said it was going to happen. And for the last 6-7 years, we've been reporting on the earthquake, saying it's going to happen, let's be prepared. And of course, there wasn't much preparation. Our entire editorial team was up on a mountain hiking. And we had climbed the mountain and we were on our way down when we got this jolt. And we looked down at Kathmandu and it was like it was being bombed. There was dust coming up everywhere, and so we thought, well, this is the big one. Kathmandu is destroyed. We were really worried about our families because we didn't know whether they were alive. So we quickly went down and we went to the office was intact. A lot of buildings were damaged, but about 80% of the buildings in Kathmandu were intact. They were not destroyed. You know, we've always tried in our paper to be digital first, and it was always very difficult to get reporters to think. My deadline is not Thursday evening, but it's every day, as it happens. But the earthquake forced us to do that. We had to be digital first. So any information we got, tweet it first, put it on Facebook, put it on the blog, and then at the end of the day, you put it all together in a news item and an analysis, and you put it on your website. And then at the end of the week, because we're a weekly paper, we collected all that, edited it, and put it in the hard copy. So we truly became digital first. Out of necessity, we had to do it. And I think the great thing about it was that even after the earthquake and 6 months later, we're still now, our whole culture is now to think online first. This was an earthquake, our first earthquake in the social media age. It became a tool not just to send information out like we did, send it out, but for us also to get information. So people out in the field were tweeting and we'd say, oh, something's happened there, so let's send our reporter there or something. So it became a two-way process, and I think it's a real lesson for us about how the social web can be used for both for news production as well as for news dissemination. You really have to be careful about how you interview trauma victims. They've lost relatives, they're in grief, and you can't just go and put a microphone to their face and say, how do you feel? You have to be sensitive. And I think you have to build trust and rapport with the people you're interviewing. You have to bring out the humanity in it, the human tragedy of it. But also, you have to bring out the human instinct for survival and hope. So if you only focus on the negative, then the public gets a very distorted impression of the reality. The other difficult part it was not just for the media, but also for relief supplies, because most of the really badly destroyed villages were so remote, it was very difficult to get there. And often the roads were blocked by landslides, the roads were bad, you had to take a helicopter ride with some relief group. So accessibility to the site of the worst destruction was a real challenge. In the beginning, information is the most precious commodity. You have to get the information out. And we as journalists, it's our responsibility to get correct, credible, accurate information out. Because the government needs that information, other people need that information, the rest of the world needs that information. So we shouldn't be thinking too much in the beginning about analysis and all that. Just get the information, correct information. Where is the damage the worst? What kind of relief supplies are needed? That sort of thing, so that it helps the process. Then after a week or so, then you start monitoring the relief supplies, whether it's getting to the place in time. Basically, you become a watchdog for the relief and response. Because the government will be saying, yeah, we're doing everything right, but there will be problems. And so maybe not so much in China, because the government is very well prepared, but definitely in countries like ours, where the government is not very well managed, there will be an issue of the efficiency of relief delivery. So you have to monitor that. And then, because the international media and the others will leave after the first 4 or 5 days, you have to be there as local journalists to keep on monitoring the situation.